Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world right now. Welcome to a very exciting Tech Tuesday. So happy that you are here with us today. I'm your host, Catherine Brown, and today is a huge day, one we have been waiting for a long time. We're excited to share it with you, and I see chat jumping already. Right now we've got Jesus from Panama, we got Surya, Bob is here with us today. Hey to everyone, please continue chatting and getting involved. As far as what we're talking about today, many of you know we have had eLearnSecurity certifications for years. But in 2022, or in February now, of course, we are bringing you our very own comprehensive INE certification program, and we are officially kicking that off today. A lot of hard work has gone into this. We are so excited to put this out in the public and answer a lot of your questions on this. First, as we do each time we stream here on INE Live, I want to let you know that we are streaming live right now across social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform you're using so you can stay in the loop when we do go live. And we want you to get involved, of course. Talk to us, talk to others. We love to see that, see these chats coming in and all the questions. Our team is monitoring chat, so if you have a comment, drop it in there. If you have a question, go ahead and put a Q at the beginning so we can find those easily as we're combing through these questions. We will get to as many as we can today. With that, let's get right to it. I want to bring in Chief Content Officer Neil Bridges, Director of Cloud Content Mike Pfeiffer, and Instructional Designer Dr. Amanda Martin. Guys, you are all familiar faces here on INE Live, so welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thanks, Catherine.
Hey.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thanks for having us.
So, all familiar faces. Want to jump right in today. As I alluded to a moment ago, INE is officially starting a new chapter, releasing what is called the INE Certified Cloud Associate certification. We're thrilled. Round of applause. These three have been working incredibly hard along with a lot of other people. So first of all, guys, this is an exciting day for all of you.
Absolutely. I think let me take the ball first and really just kind of express how thankful I am and how awesome this is to see the work come together of the entire INE team to make this certificate a reality. If many of you remember during the Redefine event mid-year last year, we promised you that we'd be having certificates. It took a little longer than usual, but as always, we wanted to make sure that it was exceptionally awesome when we released this thing, and we are now here. We're at the finish line, and we couldn't be prouder of this. And everybody who participated in the beta, everybody who participated in giving us a feedback, making sure that this thing met those expert level expectations that you've come to expect from INE. I want to give a heartfelt welcome to everybody in the community who made that possible. I'm excited to have Mike here to talk about his expertise and knowledge that went in behind that. Super excited to have Amanda here. As you know, we've brought Amanda on to do the instructional design, and that doctorate isn't just a fancy title in front of her name. She really put a lot of that emphasis and that instructional design expertise that really comes to making sure that this certificate doesn't just say that you're good at cloud. The effort that's been put behind this shows that you are definitively defined as an expert, met by realistic analytical criteria to show that you have not just the cognitive but also the demonstrative skill sets to prove that you are ready to go into the workforce, being that cloud associate. That we know that you're going to be awesome in that career field. So I couldn't be happier. I'll pass it back over to you, Catherine, and I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, no, Neil, I know, as I said, you've done a ton of work. Amanda and Mike, you guys have been extremely involved in this, and this is a process that's taken place and evolved really over the past year and change. Mike, first, I guess to you, just how are you feeling today? You're Director of Cloud Content. This is obviously a huge deal and a big step as far as the future of cloud here at INE. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm feeling good. This feels good to get this one out because I think that everybody kind of is starting to get the feeling that all right, hands-on is like way more important than we realized, right? And we're starting to see that, and we're building certifications now that validate on that. And for me, it's like something that I've been trying to get to for like a really long time. Just looking back at my career, the training experiences where I had where if it was by myself or somebody else where I was like doing projects and like building stuff, it changed my career. So I'm excited. I feel good. I feel like this is the first of many to come that are going to be a huge game changer. So awesome effort on everybody's part. Was quite a bit amount of kind of like I'm so excited. I can't even speak, but it's a lot of effort. I'm kind of blown away by the amount of effort and just having all the teams at INE come together and build something that is insanely cool. I think that what we'll show today too is some of the automation that we've been working on. So when you do your hands-on, we can actually grade that for you and make sure that you did what you were supposed to do. So yeah,
Mike, did you just say that we were going to show something today? Can you talk a little bit more about what we're going to show people today?
Yeah, I'm going to actually, once we get going here, I'm going to kick off a certification. I'm going to explain the whole process, and I'm going to show what it would be like when you get to the end of the exam. And, because it's not only just questions and going through that kind of stuff, but it's the hands-on stuff. So I'll show that today, and you guys will have a very clear understanding of how does this work, and not only for this certification, for the ones to come, because this is basically laying the foundation for a lot of upcoming things. So very excited.
Yeah, and you mentioned the hands-on. We had a great question come in from James about hands-on. I'm going to get to that in just a second. I want to shift over to Amanda really quickly because, in talking about what a big lift this has been for the entire team, Amanda, I don't think a day has gone by in the last maybe 10 months where our Slack channel on certifications and beta processes has not had your name all over it. I know you've been working incredibly hard with a very large team of people, but can you give us some insight into the process from your perspective of instructional design that went on behind the scenes? I mean, this is not something that we just threw a bunch of questions up against the wall to see what'll stick.
Oh, absolutely not. Today has been a long time coming. I'm very excited. I think this specific project started 2 hours into my orientation about 9 months ago. So this has been a long time in the making, and we wanted to be sure as a team that we did this right. So I appreciate everyone who participated in the betas, our team members who spent countless hours, days, weeks, months putting this stuff together, because it took a lot of research. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of trial, took a lot of error, took a lot of reviewing of footage and feedback to make sure this is something representative not only our subject matter expertise's vision, because they are, have their fingers on the pulse, what's happening in the industry, really anticipating where the direction the industry is going to be going. We wanted that represented, but additionally, we wanted to make sure we had quality. And not only that we were representing what it is that our audience, what you all wanted from us, that you felt that was going to make you successful in your specific positions. So that took a lot of time. It took time to figure out how to best craft the material that we're putting in there, so that way it's sound from a teaching and learning standpoint. It took a lot of effort and energy to figure out how we can shape things in a way that allowed critical thinking to happen, scenarios, so that way our clients who take the specific exam are well aware of what they're going to be faced with. It's just, I see the fellow nerds comment over there, but that's exactly it. I am a nerd through and through. I've clearly been in school for a long time, finally out, but I was really excited to be able to use those skills for this certification. Make sure we were grounded in research, making sure that we were listening to our audience after the betas, and really just meticulously going through and making sure everyone's vision was represented. So long journey, excited to be here.
Yeah, and I think there's been probably impatience. I know there's been impatience on our side internally from what people have said externally. I know there's been a lot of anxiety and just anticipation of when was this going to get released and how was it going to look, and we've been through the beta process, and it is so important to us to make sure that when this certification was released, it was absolutely perfect. And so that's what we think we've achieved now, and we are super, super excited. I want to get to this question from James. Mike, I'll ask you this. It's kind of a two-pronged question, but it is really important to address right out of the gate. Will there be hands-on labs during the course? And will we have access to AWS Azure sandboxes?
Yeah, those are great questions. So we are working on weaving labs and hands-on into the actual content, but right now it's in the certification piece. So you will do your certification and you will do hands-on in there. But we're actively working on, building out new content and adding tons of labs. So that's coming. But right now, as it stands, you will just go into your certification experience and you will do your hands-on tasks through there. Right now, what we're doing is, you use the term sandbox. It's not really a sandbox. You're literally like signing in to the cloud platform. So in this case, for the ICCA, this certification tests, base level, like fundamental cloud knowledge. So, not just, engineers, but anybody in the IT organization that needs to understand what's going on. All the concepts are universal between Azure, AWS. So, in the training, we do have cloud specific content, but we also, kind of like have high level concepts that are covered. So, once you learn something about virtual machines, you kind of get the idea about how does that work across multiple. So anyways, in this one in ICCA, you will do your hands-on on, not a sandbox, but literally in AWS. We're adding Azure coming soon. So, but like the stuff that you'll do hands-on in this case will be universal. So it's going to be things that you do in AWS and Azure. But yeah, that's kind of the story. And, one of the things that we're doing on the team is just constantly iterating. So, this thing is going to be updated pretty fast. And this is version 1. So, get ready for that. I mean, we're going to continue to build more certs as well. So to answer that question, there's a lot more coming beyond this first layer. This is kind of like a starting layer for cloud. And I think beyond this, there's going to be much more technical and very, even more challenging, very challenging multi-cloud hands-on work that we'll do.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. And really kind of describe what the ICCA is all about, Mike. Technology is so interconnected these days that it almost doesn't matter what position you're in IT. You've got to have the fundamentals of just about every different vertical. Neil, I want to go over to you for this question. Why is this cert different than anything else that exists in the market? Because it is. It's very, very unique. And we designed it that way.
Yeah, and I think that's a fantastic question and a fantastic differentiator. We wanted something that was vastly different. So first and foremost, the hands-on piece of this on the certification side is vastly different. We wanted to make sure that when a student finished taking the ICCA, they had actually hands-on experience in cloud infrastructure. And so to Mike's point, regardless of where you are in your IT journey, regardless of what you're trying to achieve or what your goals are, it is paramount that you can walk into that conversation and say, I've actually done hands-on tasks inside of a cloud environment. And that right there is really revolutionary. That's something that is very, very much a game changer, that we feel is a game changer out there on the marketplace as well. I think the other thing that and Mike's going to demonstrate this hopefully here in a little bit as well. And we were super innovative about this, and we feel pretty confident that we are one of the only training providers out there that can provide this level of feedback to the students. But we've actually created a mechanism inside of the ICCA certification whereby as you're actually doing the exam, you're also being graded at the same time. And so you're actually getting feedback from the certification that's going to tell you whether you passed or failed a particular task right there on the spot. Long gone are the days of having to wait weeks or months for your results of a practical while somebody manually grades it. But our ability with the technology and with the investment that we've made on the lab platforms allows us to really become super innovative in terms of how we actually grade these exams. And so as you go through the cognitive piece, and then as you roll into the hands-on piece and actually get that hands-on kind of experience inside the certification, you're going to know right there whether you were successful or not with that hands-on piece. So I think those two things, and just the universal acceptance that this certification will have through practitioners all across the globe, is going to be a must-have for any person who's trying to dive in or upskill their skill level into cloud.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge differentiator. And I know the auto grading is something we are really excited about here within INE. We've been talking about the demo, Mike. I want to get to you for this demo because I know a lot of people want to know what this ICCA looks like, what it's all about. So take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And once that's going here, I'll jump over. I'm going to start off in the INE platform. And so I'm basically, signed in as an INE subscriber. I'm looking at the learning paths right now. So hopefully that's coming up for you guys. I'm sure you guys will shout at me if there's any issues here. But basically what you would do, like let's say that you're going to take or you're interested in taking the ICCA, you would come under learning path, scroll down to cloud, and see it right here. If you drill into this, you see that the ICCA is made up of 3 courses, videos, quizzes, labs. So that's the content, right? So you would go through this and learn everything that you need to know about the basics of cloud, right? And then you get down to the bottom, and this is the certification. And you can see right now, I've got one that's kind of running. So I've kind of kicked this off. I'm going to show you guys a bunch of stuff today. But anyways, like you could take multiple attempts, right? And we have it set up here to show me my current attempt that's in progress. And we see here that it's a novice level certification. So this means that, people coming in to the IT organization and need to start learning cloud, need to be in those meetings to understand what's going on. The time limit for the cert's 90 minutes. Okay. And throughout the way, you're going to have to answer 46 questions and you'll perform 4 hands-on objectives for this certification. As time goes on, future certifications, obviously, we may have way more and they may be very intense, kind of depends on the scenario. But this would be your kickoff process, right? You watch videos, now you're ready to get certified. So when you get in here, you're basically going to click on start. You're going to get into an experience that looks like this. I'm going to kind of jump back and forth between some, so I can show you guys a running version of this. So you'll start the certification, you'll kind of read the terms, right? And then start the exam. And that's going to take you straight in to the multiple choice process, multiple choice exam situation. And then, you're just going to, like you normally do in any test, you'll read the question, mark the answer, and move on to the next one. So that this piece is kind of like traditional certification exam experience that you might be used to. And then take a look at this. You can also, we've done a bunch of stuff on the platform. Our product team has done a great job in so many ways, but you can leave feedback on questions. You can flag your questions, come back later like you would expect, right? And if you take a look at the top right, you'll notice that you can set an alert. So if you want to be able to be notified when the clock is ticking down on you, we've got that set up for you as well. So you go through, you answer all the questions like this. Notice the bottom right, there's the hands-on lab option. So you click on that, and that's going to take you into what I'm going to show you live. Okay. So over on this tab, I got this running certification exam that's going right now. You can see I got 53 minutes left. And what we've done here is we've actually swapped out the text on these objectives. So imagine this. You just answered 46 questions, right? Now it's time to do your hands-on work. You come in here. Notice that your minimum score for the hands-on is 2 points, but there's 4 objectives worth 1 point each. So right now, we just have placeholder text in here because we don't want to reveal the actual objectives, right? But when you're in the real exam, there will be, high-level objectives here that say something like, hey, maybe you need to start up a virtual machine that has a 10 gigabyte root volume, for example. That's not one of the objectives, but it might be something like that. And you're going to have to be able to go into the portal and finish that, right? So you're going to get those objectives here. It tells you like what the points are and all that kind of stuff. And then you open your lab, and that's where we'll give you the credentials and the sign-in URL to the lab platform in question. Like I said, ICCA, we're doing AWS right now. We're going to add Azure later. And then, basically here it is, right? You're literally signing into AWS. So here's the credentials, username is student. So I literally go to AWS, sign in as a student, right? And then I'm off and running. Go through there, perform all my tasks related to the objectives. So once I'm signed in, right, I would have to jump back over and read these and understand, okay, I need to go into maybe the S3 service and do something. So I would read the objective, come back over here, and then move on from there, right? After doing all that work, once you move through all the objectives and you feel like you've done everything that needs to be done, you submit your lab. So it's kind of a 2-step process.
Real quick, Mike, Mike, before you go too far, I want to make sure that we hone in on this. What you're really saying is you're going to have objectives that you're going to have to perform from a hands-on perspective that mirror the concepts that you've learned from a cognitive perspective from the previous, both the content that you and the team have made and the questions that are in the exam, and they're going to actually have to hands-on perform real-world objectives that they're going to be required to, expected to know about when they hit that real-world scenario, correct?
That's correct. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's the way that we design this. I imagine this to be something where these universal objectives are going to be something that every person should understand in an IT organization that's dealing with cloud. So absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this, because it is very practical. And you can literally go into an interview and say that, I've taken some objectives that were somewhat ambiguous. And with my knowledge of cloud thus far, I was able to prove that I could go in and make something happen. So yeah, I think underlining that is huge. Okay, so let's kind of show you the final experience here. You submit your lab, so that's kind of step one. Notice there's a couple notes. You can really only do this one time. So you would submit your lab, and then once we automatically grade it, and I'm not going to do that on the other one because I haven't done anything on it, but it's going to look like this. You're going to get your results back, and it's going to tell you your overall score based on the questions that you answered multiple choice, but also the objectives. And it's blurred out here. You can see that I didn't pass the exam because in my demo, I was going too fast. So I would have done a better job of like going through the questions and all that. But you can see that I did pass 2 of the hands-on objectives. So I passed the hands-on piece, and that's kind of the idea, right? And so with that, I want to stop there and open it up for questions. But that's kind of the overall experience. So like I said, it took a lot of work to get to this, and we're excited. I think this, to me, I'm a learner too. So as a customer of this type of stuff, this gets me excited.
And while we're waiting for some of those questions to come in, Mike, when we talk about those grading of those hands-on objectives, if we would just for the nerds out there that are interested in understanding, when we peel back that layer just a little bit, what we're really talking about is when you hit that submit button, can you kind of talk a little bit about some of the magic without going too far in depth about some of the magic in terms of how we've gone about doing that automatic grading so people can get that instantaneous feedback on how their scores are generated?
A lot of potential and things we'll do in the future. But, for example, on my team, we've had to write a lot of code to go in and validate that you performed the objective and passed that objective. And so essentially the way it works is, for every objective, we've got to write code that will make sure that based on the requirements that you perform that. So it's not just, this magic thing where we can easily figure out how to do that, right? So we really have to think about, as we're developing the content, what's realistic to the world, but also how do we grade it? And so, a lot of engineering goes into each one of these objectives. And it's really cool because, when we grade the exam, we have all this code firing up that's going into your lab environment and, just running through and doing all these checks. So the engineering that's had to go on in my team is going to be fun to like surface that stuff up because it's the things that everybody's trying to figure out, which is how do we collaborate on code? How do we model our infrastructure in code? And how do we communicate across teams to figure out how to do this stuff? And it's been fun. And, we're just looking at 4 objectives right here. We're going to have dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of them in the future. So yeah, the engineering stuff that goes on is insanely cool.
That's what I'm super excited about when we look at like just how important this release is for us. When we talk about the ICCA is, this is a really revolutionary way in which you've got experts like Mike and Brooks and Matt and the rest of the cloud team who are coming together to pull their knowledge to convey to you how is it that you're going to be able to do a hands-on cloud exercise that truly makes you job ready from day one, that you're going to be able to demonstrate through a certification like the ICCA that's going to really qualify you in this field. So the engineering and the technology, and this is the reason why we have experts on our team helping you to become experts. I want to flip this back over to Amanda really quick. And Amanda, can you talk about this from an ISD design perspective? You talk a lot about the research. You talk, in your intro about how proud you are for all the work that went into. Can you talk about some of that research and dive a little bit into those facets of that research to talk about how you give this thing teeth from a credibility perspective?
Absolutely, yes. So this started a while ago, but basically what we did is we tore apart the research on how to craft really great questions for this level certification. I know I've been on the record saying this before, but there is no handbook for how to create a certification in general. So it was a lot of looking in various locations. There's a lot of great information out there put out by universities, put out by specific researchers. So we really focused on utilizing that in concepts such as multi-logical thinking. It's one of the differentiators that we have in this field for our certification. Even in the multiple choice section of this exam, we are crafting our questions in a way that elevate the amount of critical thinking or higher order thinking the student's doing. That's by using those top tier level of Bloom's taxonomy. So instead of just having you recall something, we have you use multi-logical thinking by saying, okay, I know this fact and I know this fact. And because I know those 2 facts, I can figure this thing out. So doing concepts like that, using the research in these best practices to make sure we're crafting our questions the right way, elevating that standard, familiarizing all of you with situations you'll come into contact, even just beyond the lab platform. All of that went into this exam. So lots of research, lots of great stuff, but ultimately it created an experience for you all that will mirror what you are going to be experiencing within this type of job role.
See, this is what's so exciting to me, and this is why I couldn't be prouder of this team. Is this is just the first step. I want to highlight that. This is just the first step of what INE is going to be producing from a certification perspective, and you see all of the technological resources and the instructional design resources that are going into these certifications. Imagine what we're going to do as we continue to press on, as we update the cybersecurity certifications to bring them current, as we do continuous cloud certifications, as we venture into a lot of the other areas that we're doing certifications on. This is a truly, truly exciting time for INE to be doing this, and that's awesome stuff. Catherine?
Yeah, I just want to get to a few questions, and you're absolutely right, just to echo everything that you said, Neil. A couple questions going through, one that I can answer right off the bat. Will the ICCA be the free part of INE, referring to the starter pass, of course, not the exam? No, these courses are included in our premium subscription, so you can get that. I believe we have a sale going on right now. There's often sales, so you can get a good deal on that, but it is really a fantastic subscription. So, but you do need the premium subscription to do the courses for the ICCA. Neil, you can probably answer this one. Larry Esparza asks, how many attempts per exam, and is there an additional cost associated with the cert outside of the subscription cost?
I'm actually going to defer the number of attempts over to Mike, and I think that I think we're going to price the certification the way that we price our, kind of in line with a lot of our other certifications that are out there, and I'll kind of defer over to the sales and marketing team to continue to watch the socials for what those pricing points may end up being. But Mike, do you want to answer the number of certification attempts, or Amanda?
I think it'd be a good one for Amanda. Thanks, Amanda.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So with every voucher that you purchase, you'll have 2 attempts. So that's traditional for what we've been doing with our other certifications as well. So when you go ahead and buy a voucher for this, you will have those 2 opportunities to take that. You'll have the initial, and you'll have one retake.
And Amanda, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, on that, kind of in that same vein, because I think you're probably the right person to go to this as well. Several people asked, Carlton, Whitmore, and a few others, will certs require recertification as technology changes?
It's a great question. So at some point, we will we will be updating this information. We wouldn't be doing our job well if we weren't up to date and kind of anticipating, as technology changes, what that's going to mean for our learners, for our clients, for our students. So yes, eventually we will have mechanisms and procedures in place for you to make sure that you're consuming the most up-to-date information. We all know that platforms change frequently, so naturally we want our certifications to match that, so you're tested on the most relevant, the most current information. So yes, that will have an expiration date at some point.
Let me piggyback on that one a little bit, because I think this is something that Mike, Amanda, myself, the entire content team has been, fervorously talking about, working on, is having a more agile style of content release development, so that, in the case of the ICCA, but we really were applying this across all the, the expertise areas that we have at INE, where the experts like Mike, like Brooks, like Matt, the team as a whole, they're constantly out there trying to make sure that they are aware of the latest and greatest technological, innovations that are happening in their relative, subject matter expertise areas. That's going to fit into a very, very agile course development process, where if there is a drastic change or a drastic update or a drastic core concept update, we do get those changes updated, implemented into the content, and rolled out into the labs and the certifications in a time period that does allow you to get up to speed on the latest and greatest things that are happening. So again, to just kind of echo that, that's a process thing that as we continue to grow and mature, and as we continue to grow up in scale as a company, we take very, very serious on it, so that the release cycles for certifications become very, very rapid when it comes to making sure that you all are updated on the technology that's out there.
Awesome. Neil, Amanda, thank you guys so much. We have a very exciting, we're in the midst of a very exciting time here, very, very busy time. We're going to wrap this up, but before we do, quickly, Neil, Amanda, Mike, I want to go round robin and just see if you have any final parting thoughts, anything that you want to share, make sure our audience really gets the point driven home about the ICCA. Neil, we can start with you. You love to talk.
I do love to talk, and my excitement for this cannot be understated. Like this is a massive achievement. I'd high five literally everybody who's hearing my voice right now, or everybody who hears this video, in subsequent days. This has been a huge achievement of the entire INE team. I want to thank again, literally the entire INE team that has put the hours and months of sweat behind making this thing a reality. There are too many names to go through, but everybody on this team, at INE touched this at some point in time. I want to give a huge thanks. We couldn't do this without the community, without you all who helped us beta test, 3 different certification types over the course of the last 6 months. You all who provided us feedback, and literal hours and hours of feedback that we've poured through to contribute to the research that Amanda mentioned to. And so I would literally high five every single one of you who helped contribute to this, because you all should share in the joy of this excitement just as much as everybody here at INE. And so I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be more excited for this.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you're echoing the thoughts that a lot of us have here. Amanda, anything you want to share?
Absolutely. Just again, kind of echoing what Neil said, just thank you. Thank you so much. We know this has been a process, but my personal ID perspective and my hope was to make you a partner in this process, to make you a partner in your own learning. And so please know that every ounce of research, every shred of feedback that you submitted, we looked at and heavily impacted the creation of this cert and the updates we made between the beta and now. So again, thank you for being willing to be a partner in your own learning. We really are excited about this, and we hope whenever you venture in there and you purchase the ICCA and get into that platform, you'll see just how much attention, detail, and just passion we put into this project. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see some more of you guys in our beta programs in these next couple months as we continue to beta additional certifications to come.
Yeah, to echo what Amanda said, and Neil as well, people involved in the beta process, absolutely critical to this entire process, and the feedback was just crucial to pulling this all together. Mike, anything that you'd like to say before we sign off here?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for their trust and open-mindedness of, being open to something new and maybe trying something out that's a little bit different. And, for me, the hands-on story, however you get that, whether it's with us on this certification or our future certifications or on your own, step into that. That would be my advice. Hands-on, learn how to tell the story of what you're doing. And I think that that's going to serve you really well. And I know that everything that I'm doing over here with this awesome team is comes from a place of helping you do that. So thanks for the trust, and stick with us because we're going to keep chipping away at this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks everyone for the questions. We tried to get to as many as we could today. I do want to answer one from VJ that just came through. Is this similar to a cloud? No, I can promise you it is not. It is different than anything else on the market that is available right now. It is available today starting at 2 p.m. So less than a half an hour. Go on our website, INE.com, get it, take a look, and as always, give us your feedback. It means a lot to us, and we really do look at everything that is sent in. That's going to wrap up today's stream. Thank you again for watching. If you missed it live, you can look for the replay across our social channels and on the INE website. We'll be live again right here next Tuesday, February 22nd, for a new segment we're calling the INE Boardroom. We'll have content directors from cybersecurity, networking, cloud, and data science here to sound off on some recently released content and spill the tea on some upcoming news as well. So stay tuned for that and join us live. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform you're using so you can stay in the loop for details on the next stream and get notifications when we do go live. As always, bring your questions. We'll see you next time. Until then, have a great week.